Phil has been looking for his missing brother in Brazil for 2 to 3 days, and he knows that he has to find his brother because if he doesn't find his brother, statistics say that they'll never be found again, especially in Brazil. But he is in the most dangerous place in Brazil, in Rio, Brazil, that has the highest murder rates in the whole country. So he's walking and discouraged, walking about, and he meets and he sees a kid. And he hears a kid calling him P Diddy, P Diddy in a Portuguese dialect. So he goes to the kid, and you know Phil has a great heart. He loves kids because back at home, he helped troubled youth get over their issues. So he goes to the kid, and then the kid start trying to sing "All Eyes on Me" by Tupac. So Phil is enamored with that. So he goes to the kid, and he sees that the little child doesn't have any shoes. So Phil makes a great mistake that you should never make when you go on vacation. He pulls out a wad of money and gives the kid $20. And then the kid says to him, "You a black American? You looking for the other black American?" And he said, "Yes." So Phil like, "Oh, this has to be my brother." So he said that he's on the second floor. He's on the second floor, like, and under the apartment that has an orange fish sign. So he runs up to the apartment, but it's pitch black. So Phil goes in the door, but it was dark. It was pitch dark. Only light you can see is the glistening of the moonlight trying to break through the curtains. So he's walking, trying to find his way because it's dark. So he yells his brother's name, James. James Lee, are you in here? So he hears a man moaning in the distance. So he goes, and he was trying to find his way. Next thing you know, Phil get hit in the head with a glass. And as the glass shatters to the ground, there his broken body, lifeless body, falls to the ground. So the thieves come and take his money, take his belongings, take his shirt, his shoes, take everything from him. So the next day the cops come and they just see another dead tourist lying on the floor. But next to his body was a black rose. So they do their report, and they send all the information to the American embassy. So they going over his name, Philip Randall. And then the two police officers look at each other in amazement. They realize who Phil was. Phil was the brother of the notorious Fantasma. Fantasma means ghost in Portuguese, in Brazilian Portuguese. So they knew that was his brother. So they try to hide it. So the next thing the next scene comes where Fantasma, the ghost, he comes into a building. And he just started killing people. And one of the major things that he does is he takes out their vocal cords, so they won't be able to tell who he is. But he wasn't always like this, because 2 weeks ago he was on a trip to Brazil, and he was partying, having a good time in Rio, in Brazil, and he did another thing that you shouldn't do. He left his drink sitting on the counter. So he's dancing and having a good time. So he comes back to his drink, and he drinks the drink. And then he keeps partying. Then he noticed that he started feeling sick. So he started walking back on the streets, is trying to get back to the hotel because he's tired. Then next thing you know, a van pulls up beside him, kidnaps him. But he is so intoxicated and poisoned, he passes out. So the next thing you know, he wakes up on the slab, on a purple wooden slab, like this. So looking over him, so when he wakes up, come to himself, looking over him was called the skeleton man. So the skeleton man whispered, "Do you know where you are? Do you know the reason the wood is purple that you lying on?" And Phil said, and James said, no. He said the reason the wood is purple is because all the souls that tried to get away as I'm doing this voodoo on you, they got trapped in the wood. But this night, you're lucky. It's the red moon. So he goes through the procedure, and Phil becomes the Fantasma, which is called, which means the ghost. But he becomes the most deadly assassin to the boss Salvador that poisoned his drink. So 2 weeks passed, and Phil goes in on another murder spree and begins to murder. He walks into a house and murders the whole house, all 3 adults. And as he's walking out, he hears footsteps coming in the door, so he hides. He hides in the dark hallway, and then a kid is coming, so he just pulled his gun on the kid. And he noticed it's the kid, so he drops his gun. And the kid backs up and said, you just gave me $20. Thank you for the $20. Now I have shoes. This is the same kid that told Phil about where his brothers stayed before Phil got killed. Then the Fantasma said, I never gave you $20. You didn't give me anything. But he says, yes, I did. Or he looks just like you. But he said the only difference was he had a scar under his right eye. So the Fantasma knew, even though he was a half dead, half alive, and half dead because of the voodoo, he knew that Salvador killed his brother, his twin brother. So later on that night, Phil breaks into Salvador, the drug kingpin's house, and just began to walk down the hall slowly with his gun in his right hand. So he walks down the hallway to the master bedroom and opens the door. Darkness. Salvador laying in the bed asleep. So he walks up to the head of the bed and throws and places a black rose at his feet. And then he pulled back the gun, and Salvador says, wait, you cannot kill me. So Salvador sits up on the bed and turns the light on. He has a bone necklace around his neck that the skeleton man gave him. And this bone necklace controls Fantasma, the ghost, the assassin, the killer. But he said, you can't kill me because your soul is mine and I control you. So the Fantasma's still there, the assassin is still there, waiting to kill the person that killed his brother. But Salvador says one thing to him. He says, you were always like this. This was always in your heart. So the Fantasma puts the gun down, turns, and walks away.